introduce my teammates as well. They are also in this call. Hare Krishna, Murthy and Kajendra. Okay, so let me talk about the abstract and the overall idea of this project. So let me say, for example, if an institution is providing 100 to 200 certificates for a single academic year for a single student, maybe up to 40, 50 certificates, including the webinars, the semester certificates, the mark sheets, and all, like everything clubs up to around like 100 to 200. Like, and but in this case, in our Indian country, mostly this physical certificates are used, which is made of the thick cardboard paper. And there are so many situations where we could able to see so many fake certificates, so many people getting into corporates using those kind of certificates. Some people are using pirated content. I mean, pirated web courses, and still they used to say like they are certified in that, and like, some people do that too. So in our platform, we are trying to get all those clear. So we are trying to build a platform which uses blockchain to generate electronic certificates. And the core advantage of this is we'll be able to save some paper waste. And of course, as it is an e-certificate nowadays, everything is digitalized, and this digital certificate will be useful at that point. So let's see about a quick intro about this project. So basically, this project consists of like three main users. I mean, three major part of users. One is super admin, one is admin, and one is the student. The super admin is able to carry like the entire project, and like that super admin can be able to see the overall project, and this staff can be able to add students as well as the events that needed to be the student attending. And in the third case of student, only he can see what are the courses or like events that he have enrolled, and he can see the certificate that has been issued or not, and he will be able to see it. So using these digital certificates, we could see this. I mean, like using this blockchain, what we're trying to make is we are trying to create a hash key generated certificate, so that this I mean, like blockchain generated hash key, so that that can be duplicated, and as well it is safe and secure, and also it is genuine at the same time. So these are some literatures that have been already developed, and which is in real life right now. What we though there are like Coursera, Udemy, and all of the digital certificates that has been proposed and are in real life still. We were able to see that there are some cases where these certificates are even photoshopped, and and the database has been and some few cases some database have been hacked, and some data has been fed into that, and they have created their own hash key. So using this block, when it comes to our proposed solution, we are trying to implement this in blockchain, where it gives us a 256 key secure hash key, so that using trial and error method or like the brute force approach, it is a bit harder to crack it, as we know. There are so many like blockchain miners who are like mining day and night to create a single hash key. And also in our system, as I told earlier, we have like admin, we have staffs, and we have students. And using this, we can create users for our own application, and the certification is provided with a proper security. Okay, so let me come to the result and the overall discussion of the project. Using this, an institution will be able to add the staffs, and the staffs can add the students, and as well as it's a blockchain certificate, it is like lifetime validated certificate with no loss. But there could be a problem where a certificate is issued to the student, and and after a particular point of time, we could be able to come to a conclusion that okay, that student should not be provided. We have given him, in a wrong way, and say for example, if you want to revoke the certificate in blocks and okay. To revoke the certificate in blockchain, as we all know, like we can't able to delete a block, but at the same time, we are trying to hide the information of that particular student. I mean, like in a particular block, so that it is just hidden. Uh, and also for the storage purpose, we aren't storing the overall certificate as a JPEG format or like PNG format of certificate is as a whole block. We're just trying to save the credentials, like the text credentials of the particular user and the particular event and the particular mapping of the staff and admin. Using this, we could be able to save a lot of amount of storage, and it will be a very efficient way of storing the credentials and generating the certificate. For the certificate templates, we are storing it in our own server, and from that, these credentials have been just fit it into in, and just the certificate is generated. So to conclude to conclude and about mention about future works, this blockchain technology is there in education sector, and it is very booming right now. And also it is like a good cutting edge technology in this 2023. I hope many blockchain technology based services will come into account, and using our own blockchain educational project, many digital certificates will be available, and as well, we can be able to secure and verify it whenever we need it using our platform. So, so thank you. And these are the references for the project.
So good afternoon, everyone. I am Asavri Nichit, and my co-author is Kavita S. We have written a paper on depression detection from social media using tweets from using graph convolution networks. This is our final year research project that we are supposed to do. So we all know that mental problems have affected over 300 million humans worldwide. A person having depression may suffer from anxiety on day-to-day basis, which affects their relationship with their family as well as their friends, which leads to greater consequences like suicide, and also hampers their life overall. Similarly, anxiety can also include a wide range of symptoms from generalized worry to panic attacks. Depression affects an estimate 1 in 15 adults in any given year, and 1 in 6 people will experience depression at some time in their life. Depression can occur at any time, but on average, first appears during the late teens to the mid-20s. So the problem statement. In this world of growing social media, people often express their emotions and feelings through tweets. And social media is becoming more and more trendier way of expressing their emotions. So we have chosen this topic, that is detecting detecting their mental state at earlier stages using social data analytic techniques can actually help detecting the depression or the anxiety at a lower stage. So we did a lot. We took a lot of papers and went through them. These are some of them. Most of them used techniques like LSTM and BiLSTM, and these are the few papers that we went through. Most of these, so we observed that these papers do not take into consideration using graph convolution networks, and we thought of implementing graph convolution networks for sentiment analysis, which was not implemented before. So now, why graph convolution networks? Graph convolution networks have a unique ability to deal with unordered data, and GCNs use both node features and structure for the training. The other methods like LSTM and BiLSTM do not deal with unordered data. GCN can learn feature representations even before training or backpropagation. This replaces the manual feature engineering and allows the machine to both learn the features and use them to perform a specific task. So the data set that we used composed of two parts, one with depressed tweets and second with non-depressed tweets. The non-depressed tweets were taken from the random tweets dataset, which was found in Kaggle, and the depressed tweets were taken from the depressed tweets dataset. That this dataset, they have scrapped it from Twitter using Twint, and they have used the keyword depression. So we know that all the tweets in this dataset are depressed. So we made sure that both the kinds of tweets were included in our research. The data set that we used was, we made sure that the data set that we used is a balanced data set. And this is the corpus that we got after pre-processing. Firstly, I would like to start with the step one. So the data set that we used it further for pre-processing. That is, we remove the unwanted data from the tweets. That is the hashtags, emojis, stop words, and all the punctuations, so that we can deal with the remaining pure data that we need to feed it into the system. The system can't really go through the data which has all the noise in it. So as to remove the noise, we did data pre-processing, which includes tokenization, removal of stop words, conversion to lowercase, and POS tagging. Nextly, the building of the graph. So we built a heterogeneous graph was built, which contains word nodes and document nodes. Every node on the doc is represented as one hot vector as input to the text GCN. The edges among the nodes based on word co-occurrence in the documents and word co-occurrence in the whole corpus as well. The weight between a document node and a word node is term frequency, inverse document frequency of word in document, where the term frequency is the number of times the word appears in the document, and the inverse document frequency is logarithmically scaled inverse fraction of the number of documents containing that word. We also used point-wise mutual information, that is PMI, to calculate the weights between two word nodes. So we used two functions. Sorry. Yeah. So after the graph was made, the graph was fed to the GCN, which was a two-layered GCN. Why two layers? So first, when we added the first layer and saw the results, and then we added the second layer, we saw that the two-layer GCN worked much more better than the one-layer GCN. But adding much more layers was not helping the performance of the model. Hence, we only used two layers. The first layer used the ReLU function, and the second layer used the softmax classifier. ReLU function was used in order to avoid vanishing gradient problem, and softmax classifier was used in order to obtain the probabilities of the classes that we have. Moving on to model accuracy and observation. So we obtained an accuracy of 75.44%. And the observations were as follows. GCN can compute both the document word and global word-word relations. The GCN works better on longer text data, and label information is propagated to the entire graph through nodes, which act like bridges. Now, GCN computes new features of node as the weighted average of itself and the second order neighbors. And the label information of the document node can be passed to their neighboring word nodes. Hence, the label information is propagated through the entire graph. So if the graph is larger, then the more larger the graph, the more the messages passed around, and the better the results. Hence, we found out that our graph was not large enough. So if the limitation of our paper will be that in order to increase the accuracy, a larger data set will work much more better. And why GCN over all the traditional techniques? Because GCN can work on longer data sets and compared to the others. Also, it learns the information way quicker than the others. And
hope my screen is visible to everyone. Myself, Dr. Santosh Marodi Kumbar, working as an assistant professor in Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce, Pune since 14 years. My area of research is commerce, finance, business administration, and accounting. Recently, I have written a paper on cloud accounting software. which is used by the accounting practitioners. Can you give me a sec? Just a sec. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I'll let you know what is the cloud accounting service providers. There are recently, few of you must have heard, these are the new softwares which are invented by the many manufacturers, accounting manufacturers like Intuit, Zero, Zoha Books, Zip Books, and Reach. Many of you must have heard about the Zoho Books, and it is getting tremendous demand for the accounting purpose. Due to time constraint, I am unable to explain, each and everything, because I'm working in an institution and our examinations are going on, and my examination duty is going to start at 3 o'clock. So I'll try my best and I will be highlighting the important points which will, will emphasize on my research study. Cloud accounting software is the most recent technology in which all data is stored online and accessed by the users via the internet. It has numerous advantages, including ease of access, low cost, and more accurate and precise reports. It has the potential to be the future of accounting software. Nowadays, in many countries, there are some traditional softwares which are being used, like Tally. And as per the nature and requirement of a business, software can be invented, software can be developed, and that software can be used to fulfill the recording of business transactions. The purpose of this study to determine the level of awareness of cloud accounting software and the reasons of adoption and non-adoption of software among the accounting practitioners. So what were the objectives of my study? Number one, to study the awareness of cloud accounting software among the accounting practitioners, to investigate practitioner awareness of various cloud accounting applications. There are many, out of which software they are used, to find the reasons of adoption of cloud accounting based software, to find the reasons of non-adaptation of cloud accounting software. And the last objective was to study the preference of accounting practitioners, which software they prefer. So the hypothesis which I had framed said one was cloud accounting gives the advantages of rapid development, not just for the practitioners, but also to the business in terms of generation of accounting reports, then saving the records, furnishing the records, providing the records, financial reports to the stakeholders. The second hypothesis which I had considered was cloud computing benefited the users in terms of cost saving, reliability, and mobility. The sample size was, in my area where I stay, it's a quite big city. Those who are from, abroad, I'm telling to them, and I have chosen chartered accountants. And in my total sample size, there are 120 chartered accountants. And those who are working in various organizations, some of them were from MNC, some of them from IT, some of them from public organizations. I had sent the questionnaire in Google form to around 1100 respondents. And, as I know, the population is infinite. I could get the responses from 250 respondents. I had collected the relevant data. I had prepared a structured questionnaire. Each and everything, information which is related to the cloud accounting software has been collected, and I have very nicely elaborated, explained in my research paper. From research paper, I have chosen a few important points, which I'm going to explain over here. The first hypothesis was cloud computing gives the advantage of profit development to the users. And as we can see on my screen, strongly agree the percentage is about 84%. So the respondents to whom questionnaire was sent, they have said yes, they could have rapid development after using the cloud accounting softwares. The sample t-test was run to test the hypothesis, and as we can see in the above table, at test level 4, which is a mean value, the p-value is less than 5. The satisfaction score is significantly 0.180, 95% confidence level. So here my first hypothesis, which was that the cloud accounting gives the advantage of rapid development to the users, has been proven. Then the second hypothesis which I had considered in my study was cloud accounting computing benefited the users in terms of cost saving, reliability, and mobility. Here also I could get very good percentage as far as strongly agree, 55% respondents have agreed, and 145 out of 250 have agreed. So if I accumulate it, more than 70% respondents have said that they could, because of cloud computing, they have benefited, users also benefited as far as in the terms of cost saving, reliability, and mobility. One sample test was used for the same, and here p-value which I had found was minus less than 0.5. So this hypothesis also has been got approved. Some major findings which are from my study, which I want to share with you. 96% of the respondents said that cloud accounting software is gaining momentum due to its inherent benefits. 4% of the respondents said that cloud accounting software is not getting momentum due to its inherent benefits. So I'm telling you pros and cons of the both same. The data analysis also revealed 66% of the respondents agreed with the statement that cloud accounting provides benefit and makes their job easier. 24% of the respondents strongly agreed, and 10% of respondents remain neutral to the statement, whereas none of them disagreed with the statement. 34% of the respondents said the main reasons for the non-adoption of cloud accounting software is due to security and privacy issue. 22% of the respondents said the reason for non-adoption is data loss. 24% of the respondents said due to lack of trust and cloud accounting software they are not using, and 14% have said data confidentially, and 6% said due to limited control. So 22% also strongly agreed that cloud accounting benefited the user in terms of cost saving, reliability. 44% of the respondents strongly agreed that cloud accounting has taken a whole new dimension due to cloud computing, and 34% of the respondents agreed accounting has taken into a new dimension, whereas 2% disagreed to this. So coming on to the conclusion, after analysis and interpretation of the data, I come to know that respondents were aware about the cloud accounting software, and they were using the cloud accounting application, and this application has been benefited to them tremendously. It has helped users to access the data, deal with multiple client work, remote location, just by logging into the service with the help of internet. Cloud accounting software is the most recent technology, having numerous advantages, including ease of access, low cost, and more accurate and precise reports. It has the potential to the new to the future of accounting software. In developing countries, 47%, the business cost, which is come for the recording business transaction have been nowadays reduced, and it has come down to 22%. The total cost, which I am talking about, the business transactions, record bookkeeping and recording. So this was my research paper. I thank all the organizer for giving me this opportunity.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself Purvika, and our topic is smart dustbin for domestic usage. So today we are discussing about an abstract. Coming on to the abstract, we can say that waste management is a very complicated process in our country. So thus we have aimed to build a smart dustbin for domestic usage which segregates the waste into dry and wet waste. So the main basic idea of our project is that moisture sensor to distinguish dry and wet waste into separate compartments with the help of DC motor, and thus dumping the waste into separate compartments. It also has a moisture level monitoring system, which also provides an alarm when the dustbin is about to fill. So coming on to the introduction. Waste refers to the non-usable and unwanted materials. Due to the increase of the urbanization in our country, we have increase in the refuse generation, where refuse generation means commonly we can say it as a waste. Waste is also non-usable and unwanted materials. So if a person in India is generating about 1.3 pounds of waste per day, then for 1.2 billion people, around 6.2 billion tons of waste is being generated in our country. So we can say that segregation is the basic key for waste management. For the purpose of waste segregation at the source, waste is identified and classified into two groups, that is dry and wet waste. If this waste is not segregated, or if it is left as it is, then the food can be contaminated and it can damage the ecosystem, and also there will be hazardous diseases which can affect the human health. Hence, we aim to distinguish the waste at the domestic level itself, that is at home itself. Hence, we have aimed to build this IoT project with the help of some sensors and motors, which they segregates the waste at the home level itself. Even though there are so many traditional techniques for segregating the waste at the domestic level itself, but none of them are in use. Hence, we have made it automatic so that it could be easier, and some people might take the responsibility in order for segregation of the waste. So, coming on to the problem statement or the existing system, at the present day context, as we said, there are some of the traditional methods for the segregation of the waste. Like we can use different colored codes of bins for the type of waste, where waste can be segregated into different types. And also there is another method in which the collected waste is run on a conveyor belt, and it can be segregated automatically with the help of sensors and motors. And also magnetic and non-magnetic materials can also be segregated in this method. Another method is that manual segregation, where all the waste is dumped into an area, and then manually this segregation can be done. So coming on to the architecture of the system, we have aimed to build this project based on Arduino module and the drive. In Arduino module, there are two types of sensors which we are using, that is moisture sensor and the ultrasonic sensor. Moisture sensor basically is used for detecting the moisture content in the waste, whether it is dry or wet. And ultrasonic sensor is basically in order to detect the waste. For detecting the waste, we get this moisture sensor is also used. Then after collecting the information about the moisture content and also the presence of the waste, the signal from the Arduino module is sent into the motor, which is actuated by the drive. And after that, the drive is actuates the motor to run clockwise or anti-clockwise for the waste to fall into the either of the compartments. So this whole module is actuated by the power supply, which can be AC or the DC. This is the architecture of the system. Next, coming on to the circuit diagram. This is the circuit diagram which we have made the connection in order for the Arduino module and the other components to work synchronously. Next, we have used the components of the system. The major components of the system are given here. The major components are moisture sensor module. Moisture sensor is primarily a board on which there is a copper coating in the form of the horizontal lines. Moisture sensor module also enables us to measure the moisture content in the waste. So this is basically used for detecting the moisture content in the waste. Ultrasonic sensor. An ultrasonic sensor uses the ultrasonic sound waves to measure the distance of the desired object or the target object by emitting the ultrasonic waves, where the object can be detected, and we can also say whether the dustbin is about to fill or not, and can also provide an alarm if the dustbin is about to fill. So the next components is Arduino Uno module. Arduino Uno is a programmable open source microcontroller board that is inexpensive, adaptable, and simple to use. Arduino Uno is also based on 80 Mega 328P. So this provides the working for all of the components that is present or that is used in the project. Next is drive. Motor driver module is referred to as small current enhancer, whose work is to convert the low current signal into a high current signal that can drive the motor. So basically this drive is used to actuate the motor for the motor movements. Next, coming on to the DC motor. A DC motor is any sort of rotating electrical motors that is used that uses the direct current electricity in order to create the mechanical energy. DC motors contain internal mechanism that is either electrochemical or electronic. So this DC motor also turns clockwise or anti-clockwise based on the detection of the dry or wet waste. Arduino buzzer module generates the sound when an electric current is fed through it by sending the varied frequency electric pulses. So the Arduino buzzer can be directly attached to the Arduino so that various tones can be produced. So basically this Arduino buzzer is used to provide the sound whenever the dustbin is about to fill like about 70%. So this is the table of contents, like component and the application, where it has been compacted into a table. Like as I said, moisture sensor module is you help to detect the moisture content and can be segregated. Ultrasonic sensor, one is actually we are using here two ultrasonic sensor module. So one ultrasonic sensor is used to detect the waste that is present on the sensor, and the second one is used to detect the level of waste in the waste segregator. Arduino Uno module is used to program the whole working module, and Arduino buzzer is mainly gives an alarm when it is when the waste has been reached to the prescribed limit. DC motor provides a rotatory motion which can be used for the segregation of the waste into dry and wet. Electric drives actuates the DC motor and can also induce the direction of the rotation. This is the schematic representation of the smart dustbin that we have built. And this is the flow chart of our whole project. Like when the waste is placed on the moisture sensor, the material is detected with the help of ultrasonic sensor. And if the material is not detected, then we can say that waste is not placed. If the material is detected, then we can say that it sends the signal to the moisture sensor in order to detect the water content that is present in the waste. If it is wet or if the waste is wet waste, then it falls into the wet compartment, or if the waste is dry, then it falls into the dry compartment. And together, when the dustbin is about to fill, with the help of another ultrasonic sensor, if the about to fill that is 70%, then the alarm rings. If the dustbin is not filled, then no alarm. So this is the whole idea of our project. This is the photo of the model that we have built in reality. So coming on to the conclusion, the idea of the segregation of dry and wet waste at the domestic level based on the moisture sensor is present in this material. So as the idea is very innovative, but there are also some positives and negatives in this proposed project, in which some of the limitations are that the waste cannot be compactly packed and put into the dustbin for the segregation of dry and wet waste. And this idea can be used only for the domestic purpose, like only for the domestic purpose and not for the huge quantity. Thus this idea was used to develop the waste segregators. This was not used to develop the waste segregators at the higher level. Thank you.